So people have started to notice over time that I've seen in person, or maybe if you've been following me on social media, you even know too, but especially people who have seen me in person, they just look at me sometimes and they say, "You seem different." Not in a bad way, but just something is different about you. What's changed? I mean, and some of them know, have seen my videos, or maybe they haven't, and they ask, but again, a chosen scene, and I didn't know how to answer people when they asked me that, right? So again, a chosen scene that I watched kind of summed everything up. So that's kind of how I want to almost end my testimony with, because it just explains everything. Is another scene with Mary Magdalene, and when she says, "I was one way, and now I'm completely different," and the thing that happened in between was him. For the first time in my adult life, I'm going to church every Sunday. But I'm not just going to church just to be there. Like, I'm going to church and I'm worshiping and I'm feeling Him every time I step into there. I'm reading a Bible nearly every day. I feel led to, I'll be listening to the radio and I still listen to like regular secular music a little bit, but more often than not, I find myself turning to worship music instead. Never would have done that before. It's just, it doesn't seem like me, but it is me now. Like it's not anything that I'm trying to force or put on or change into this completely different person. Like it's happening naturally because it was always meant to. It's always who I was meant to be. I just wasn't awake yet. Um, and I still feel him all the time. Like people ask how I can hear him. Um, I wouldn't use the word hear, but it's like I'll be watching something on TV or listening to something on the radio, a song, or see a video pop up on YouTube. And it's not that it just resonates with me. That's how it starts. Like it resonates with me, but it's always like the feeling inside when I'm watching it. Either I start to feel completely warm and light inside, like this peace that I can't explain, or I feel that like tug at my chest. And I know that those feelings are like, hey, this is for you. Pay attention to this. And it always lines up with like something I'm struggling with, right? But I still have doubts and I still have fears. Like life isn't perfect and I'm still human and it's not all like fairy tale, everything's a perfect thing now. I still have my doubts, my fears. I'm still like trying to figure things out at times and struggling with which path to take or something like that. Um, But when I do that, he just reminds me that he's here. When I pray about it, he'll remind me in some way that he's here and I'm not alone. Like I'll get the unexplainable peace and I won't spiral into depression like I used to. Um, but here's like two specific examples of how he's shown me he's here when that's happened here recently. And I'll kind of finish off with those for my testimony. The first one I'm going to read actually from my journal because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. One night I was hurting so much from not attaining a goal that I had set for myself, right? Um, I was struggling again. I wasn't spiraling into depression, but I was really, really struggling with I work so hard for this and I've even started to do this more in a way for you now, and I'm still not getting that goal that I want so bad. Um, and so I'm upset and I'm like not really I wasn't praying really angrily, but I was crying and upset, right? And I said to him, I said, "Do you see how hard I've worked for this? Like I want to do it well for you. I want to do it in your name now. So why has it not happened? I've changed so much and I'm trying to do this for you. So why has that dream of mine not happened?" And in that moment of weakness, I just cried out and I said, "Do you not see me anymore?" Because this was after all the healing and all the amazing things that had happened. It was a little bit after that, and it seemed like it got quiet for a while. Of course, I didn't I didn't hear an answer right then. I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and had that feeling to watch The Chosen again. And so I did. And yet again, the episode completely mirrored what I had just been crying about the night before. So it's the episode where Nathaniel has a similar moment that I had. Um, he's thinking that God has turned his face from him. It's when he's sitting under the tree. And then later he actually meets Jesus for the first time. And I'm gonna say what it said in the episode that what Jesus spoke in the episode to Nathaniel, but all I can say is like this feeling that just came over me when I was watching this for the first time was again like when he called Mary Magdalene by name and it felt I just felt so strongly and then dreamt that night that he was calling me someone was telling me I was calling you too. It happened like that again to where it just felt like Jesus was saying this to me too because this had just happened to me the night before. Jesus says, when you were in your lowest moment and you were alone, and I had been alone when I was crying at him, obviously when I was praying, I was alone in my kitchen that night. When you were in your lowest moment and you were alone, I did not turn my face from you. I saw you. And it meant so much to me in that moment. Not only, I mean, it was definitely an answer to what had just happened the night before, but it was kind of this whole thing because he found me while I was in my bed with depression. And so that was my lowest moment, right? So in that moment, I sobbed and it did feel like his answer to me that he still sees me. He sees what I'm doing for him now. He hasn't turned away. You know, and it clicked for me in that moment that that's what matters. Not what goals that I have for myself do and don't hit. It just matters that I'm following him and living my life for him now and he sees it. And I can feel the difference in that. Like how much happier and content I am in life in general. That's everything. How much love I feel, not just from my family like I always have, which is amazing, but I feel it now too when I'm praying, when I'm talking to him. That's what matters. Just becoming a better person. The second example of something that happened that I know it was just him showing me that he was still there is I have been praying and reading the Bible and worshiping and going to church. And I just had this feeling of like there was still something that I wasn't doing well enough for him because I'm like a perfectionist. So my whole thing was I want to do everything right. I want to do everything perfect for you, which is not the way that I needed to be, but that's where my mind was at the time. And so I was praying that, and I was praying that at night, a night before I was getting ready to leave the next morning to drive to Charlotte for an acting gig. And had a dream that night after I prayed it. I had another dream, one of those dreams where I knew it meant something that someone that I didn't know again was talking to me, and they said, this one kind of makes me laugh a little bit. I don't know why. So the person in my dream said to me, they said, when you're driving tomorrow, look for the signs. And in my dream, I said to this person, I said, "You mean the billboards?" And then, because apparently I'm a smart aleck in my dream, I don't know. Um, and then the person said back to me, they said, "No, like on the semi trucks." And that was the whole dream. So again, I did my whole waking up thing of like, oh, this doesn't make sense. What, like a sign on a semi truck? What? Um, but then I ended up like being late that morning, right? So I'm rushing around and doing all this stuff. And I actually completely forgot about the dream this time. So I'm driving to Charlotte, which is about a 4 hour drive from me. And this was maybe 2 or 3 hours in. I don't really remember exactly, but I know it was pretty far into the drive. I had forgotten all about the dream. And I'm driving behind a semi truck in the middle lane for like 15 minutes straight, right? And I don't know why I never passed this semi truck because there was literally not that much traffic on either side of us, right? So I had plenty of opportunities to go around this truck. And I knew I was going slow because I kept like having to hit my brake. And I don't know, to this day, I can't tell you, like, I don't know why I didn't pass it. And I don't know why I never looked up and noticed what I noticed later for like the 15, 20 minutes that I was following this thing. But I'm like sitting here driving and staying behind it. And then I finally, like 15, 20 minutes later, I'm like, why am I not passing this truck? I just need to pass this truck. And so I get ready to go past the truck, and that's when I see it, which I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how I didn't see it the whole time because it was right there on the back of the truck. Um, kind of, like when people write things in dust or dirt on windows or trucks or whatever. It was like that. It was something somebody had written in some dirt on the back door of the truck, that semi truck that was in front of me, and it said, "Jesus loves you." And up until that second, I had forgotten completely about the dream. But when I saw those words, it was like this jolt, and the dream came like flooding back. And it was just, oh, that's what that was. So again, it was just like a, hey, I'm still here. You're doing good type of thing. Um, and that's just it. After those two things, it really just hit me like I can set goals. It doesn't matter if I hit them or not. Just enjoy life. Just stop stressing myself out over things that don't happen and just remember that his plans are better because I'm following him now. He's leading me now. There's some things that I have felt led to do, like make these videos, but there's some even bigger things that I'm feeling led to do right now that I don't want to speak of yet, um, just because I don't know how they're going to work out. But it doesn't matter if it works out, it's from him. If it doesn't, then it wasn't. And so with this new path that he's been leading me down, or starting to, I haven't really gotten too far into it yet, that I don't want to speak on exactly. With that and acting and the videos, and there are a few other choices that I can make, like how life is like, which path do I take? Which one is the correct one? I recently have been doing a lot of praying over that of, I'll go where you show me to go, but please make it very clear. I'll give up anything you tell me to give up. Just please make it very clear so I know, which path it is that you want me to take, right? And I've been praying that for days, weeks probably at this point. Um, and I got a song. This happened yesterday, as of the recording of this video. I had a song pop in my head, and the times when I know that the songs popping in my head are not just me is if it's a song that either I don't really know or haven't heard in forever, ever, ever ago, and I'll just remember like little lyrics for it. I mean, if it's a song that is like one of my favorites or I listen to all the time or is really popular, then like I tend to just, know that that's just a song stuck in my head. But this time it was right after I had prayed this last time about that which path to take. And the song came in my head, Everything I do it for you. I think it's by Bryan Adams. I could be wrong. And so when I get a song like that in my head that I think means something, I'll like Google the lyrics. I don't know what this was. I'll Google the lyrics and just see if anything kind of gives me that feeling of, hey, this is for you. So this time I Googled the lyrics to that song, and it was so weird because Google brought up the lyrics in English, but then it had the title of the song in Spanish. And that's never happened before. And I thought that was kind of weird. Um, and I don't even know why, but like I knew that it was the title of the song the way it was like on top of the lyrics, but I still like copied and pasted the Spanish title of the song into Google just to see how it translated. And when I did that, I was expecting the song in Spanish or something to come up as the search result, but it didn't. It actually came up completely, like the results came up completely in Spanish, so I had to like translate them, but it came up as a Bible verse. And I've learned over time when this is all happening to me and like all the videos I'm watching and the people I'm listening to are saying, I've just been learning through all of this that like you can always test everything in his word, and that's like if you're ever confused or whatever. Um and that's the biggest way he speaks to you, right? So when it came up as a Bible verse from a song in a Spanish title that I had to translate, I was so crazy. Like I was looking at for a song and it came up as a Bible verse, so I was like, "Hello, this is for you." Um, so when I looked up the Bible verse and translated it from Spanish, when I saw that it looked like it was supposed to be a Bible verse, I translated it from Spanish, and the translation came back as this. It said, "Everything I do" is a phrase popularly known from the Bible verse Colossians 3:23 that urges all actions and activities with the best disposition, doing everything with excellence, as if it were for the Lord Jesus Christ and not for the people, or to win human favor. And it hit me at that moment that that was the answer to my question of which path to take. He was just saying, whatever you do, do it for me. Do it as if you were doing it for me. Um, you know, don't do it for yourself to hit certain goals. You can have goals, but don't make that be the be all end all. Uh, do it for me. And that was such a relief to me because some of the biggest moments that led me to depression were like feeling like a failure when I hadn't hit goals that I set for myself that I worked so hard for. But the truth was, that's because he has something better for me, right? And that I can still do the things that I want to do if I'm doing them for him. So I'm auditioning from a totally different place now. I'm just speaking truths, and it's how I've always acted when I was on set after I got the job. But I always got so stressed over auditions, and like I've learned so many techniques over the years, and I gotta check this box and this box and this box and this box, and make sure you do this and make sure you do this, and then it gets so in my head that I get frustrated. And then who knows how that comes across in the auditions. And I've always felt like I was a better actor on set than I was in auditions. And so going about my auditions now the same way I go about being on set has been like a huge relief. Because I put in the work to know the technique, so I have to trust that that's all there, or at least enough of it is in there and will come out naturally, right? Basically, I just want to end the testimony like this. I know these videos have been long. Thank you so much for those of you who has stuck through them all, but this story was huge and I felt like he was telling me to make sure to tell all the details because this person's going to relate to this part and this person's going to relate to this part. And, you know, I don't care how many views this gets. I don't care how many people subscribe to my YouTube at this point. I just have full, complete trust. And I pray it right now, Lord, that you just let whoever needs to see this video and my other videos, let them see it. If it helps one person, then I did my job. So I just want to end like this. Don't feel like you have to be perfect to come to the Lord. If you don't know the Bible, I didn't. If you haven't prayed correctly your entire life, I had. If you haven't been seeking a relationship with Him, I hadn't. It doesn't matter. He loves you and He wants you to come as you are. I cried at Him, and I've heard stories of people who like angry prayers and yelled at Him, and just be honest and be you and like talk to Him like He's your best friend. That's what I'm learning, and it's been absolutely amazing. Just surrender to Him and listen. I think that's the biggest thing is like getting still enough to actually listen and just know that sometimes the answers aren't going to come right then. Like there has been times when I'll get answers about things from a while ago. And start small. Like I didn't go from not really praying at all or thinking about Jesus at all to where I am right now. It was a process. Start small, whether it's picking up a Bible for the first time or trying to pray for the first time or wherever you're at, just take one small step. You don't have to, do 0 to 60. Um, but yeah, he loves you. He was urging me with everything that's going on in the world right now to just get this out there. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this, just share it with them. Love you guys. Thank you so much.